Okay?
All right, let's go.
Just for what it's worth, one of the things on the Dropbox that I said that, if people emailed my wife or me, I have some business cards I handed out. If anybody didn't get one, you're welcome to it. And on it's my home phone number and the email and also the ericology.net. Again, I hate the ericology.net website. It's not finished. Somebody put it up. I think it's ugly. I think it's kind of rude because it just looks like I'm trying to sell stuff. That's not what it's supposed to be. Somebody else did it. I had nothing to do with it. I'm trying to change it. I haven't had time. Now, that being said, hopefully it will be a decent website one of these days. But if anybody wants a business card, that's that. And there's that little chart of the kind of like the Rosetta Stone, as I see it, as saying the modern letters, the Sophites, the Paleo, the Mishkan pattern. There's this other emblem that I made, and there's just the chart, and this is just to say, well, that's it. Now, here's another thing I was playing around with. Tell you what. There's a few things in this book. I emailed the 40 pages, and some of you got it. I have some that are printed. What I was going to do is have that be the introduction to a deeper explanation of some of the things we talked about. So the first 40 pages is one thing. And then I've got some other graphics in here, stuff I've been working on. Like I made that menorah. This is a carved piece of purple heart stick that I carved the same words that's on the shirt. It's the Ten Commandments written in Paleo. And so I just basically put that stick, like a scepter type of a stick, in front of the menorah, and that's in front of our yard. Which are the same words which are here. And so this is actually on the Dropbox. Somebody asked me once to write up the Ten Commandments in Paleo. So I just altered the verses in blue, purple, red, and instead of white I put gold, because the embroidery threads are blue, purple, red, and white with gold thread. Exodus 20, these are the same words that are on that shirt. And then on the last page, where it says, right after the Ten Commandments, it says, the entire people saw the sun in the flames, the sound of the shofar, the smoky mountain. And then I changed a few, I added a few others, so I wrote these other words. Do not fear, which is Altira. For in order to elevate you, Yahweh's covenant, the Avim shall be upon your faces, so that you shall not sin. That's what all of this is written. And then he says in Exodus 20:21, wherever I permit my Shem to be remembered or mentioned, I shall come to you and bless you. So as we talked the other day about that, in Leviticus 19:18, Ve'ahavta l're'elka kamoka, as you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And then here's the Shema. So just for what it's worth, just so you see it written in Paleo, so it gives you something to try to look at and read. Shema Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Ve'ahavta et Yahweh Elkecha, ve'kol avavka, ve'kol nafsheka, ve'kol me'odeka. So, and then you can go on in these words which I command you this day. I didn't translate it, but you know what it is, you can look it up. But anyway, I have a couple copies of these here. These are printed on kind of a cardstock, but this is the same stuff that's on that Dropbox. So you can print it out yourself if you want to, or if anybody wants a couple copies of these. So there's this thing in Daniel 12:4, where it says, hide the words and seal the book until the time. And let's try to find it here. So the Ayin Dalet Ayin Tav means until the time. Until the time of the end, specifically.
You did do that teaching with this group Friday.
Yeah, but I wanted to show the symbol here and read it for, if I can find where I put it. Well, here, did I explain to anybody what this one on the back is that somebody's asking about? Did I explain that at all? No?
A little bit.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit.
I had a hunch or a theory. What if you could read the alphabet, here it is, what if you could read the alphabet in its natural order? So I can say, there's a message embedded in the alphabet. Alphabet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin. You could read that, and there's a message embedded in it. What's the message? Maybe it's conjecture. Maybe it's just my harebrained scheme of my own lunacy or an artistic invention. I thought, well, if you could look at the letters, the words spelled by the letters' natural sequence, maybe there's a message embedded in the natural flow. So it's titled here, Organic Devarim. In other words, the natural words, by the way they were designed. Words spelled by the natural sequence, Sefer, which is the word cipher, which is Samik Peresh, which is the word sofer, which is a scribe, that is where we get the word super, and uber, and superman, and soprano, which is the highest of all men's endeavors on the face of the earth. is to learn to be a scribe of these words. That's what's embedded in Hebrew. That's why the... Does anybody, have you ever heard of the Chabad, like Chabad Lubavitch? You know what it stands for? It's an acronym. Chachma, Bina, Da'at. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's Chabad. Well, I just thought it was some name or some whatever. It's like, wow, these guys are aspiring for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. As opposed to, whatever, that's done away with. Now, who would you have more respect for? Even if they maybe are wrong, even though if they don't recognize the Messiah, because whoever is representing the Messiah has lied about it the whole time, why should they believe in the guy that's been lied about? But you have to say, well, I don't know these Jews. I don't know which ones go to Chabad, but at least if they are saying the name of our group is Wisdom, Knowledge, and Understanding because we're seeking the Father's heart, it's like, that's got to be respectable. The word sofer, or super, or sefer is where we get the scribes who study the letters to study these words, which are where Chachma, Bina, and Da'at are embedded. Anyway, Aleph Bet, as a word in the dictionary, and through using Hirsch's dictionary and a little bit of Strong's, and determining what the letters mean, this blue bracket covering these two columns, the white and blue, like on the chart, the Aleph and the Bet, that's what that means. Bet Gimel means that. Gimel Dalet means that. Dalet Hey means that. Hey Vav, Vav Zayin, Zayin Chet, Chet Tet. And then every three letters. Aleph Bet Gimel Dalet, Dalet, or Gimel Dalet Hey. Then you come down here, Dalet Hey Vav, Hey Vav Zayin, Vav Zayin Chet. So I tried to take every two and every three letter letter groups, going frontwards from Aleph through Tav, and then in the inverse from Tav through Aleph.
Do they do 4 letters, or is it always just 2 and 3?
Well, some of these words don't exist. Some of them don't exist. Meaning, I'm not sure which one off the top of my head, but for example, if there's no word that's Nun Mem Lamed, there's a Kaf Mem Nun, and there's a Mem Nun Mem Nun, and there's a Yod Mem Nun. But I didn't just have Mem Nun. And if it's Yod Mem, if it's Mem, where is it? Here, Nun Mem Lamed. Well, there's a Nun Mem Lamed. This is a little hard to read because it's small. I actually printed this originally 12 by 18, which is much easier to read. But being on this PDF file, if you wanted to look at this, you could make it as big as you wanted to. But generally, printers cost like $7 or $8 a square foot, which is why the big chart cost me $50, and depending on the paper and the type of ink and which printer you go to, I have one that's like 3 feet wide, which is like $100 or better. The point is, this is just, again, to sit there and study the words. And then there's some other words down here which are kind of, they need some explanation, which I haven't had time to explain because this was going to be a whole other class that we didn't get there. But I'm just trying to show you some stuff that's in this. Ayin Dalet Ayin Tav, until the time. B'nai Yisrael, Bin Dar Dan Da'at. What do you think that might mean? Bin Dar Dan Da'at. It's a play on words. I'm just messing around. Like been there, done that. So, now I'm just messing around with the words like little kids playing with blocks, okay? So, here, what does the word being mean? It's a real word.
Bean?
Being.
Being.
This is what being, bet, yod, nun, being, like B-E-E-N,
Oh,
being.
bin.
Now here, when I read what this word means, picture having a beanie. Remember Romper Room with the thinking cap with the propeller on the beanie? This is what, if I am doing being, that's beanie, and I'm thinking, and this is what the word means. Evaluate, consider, regard, look well to, understood, become wise, interpolate, distinguish clearly, intelligent, prudent, comprehension of instruction. When if you're beanie going on, that's pure Hebrew.
Probably came from that.
Probably did. Dar, which would be Dalet Resh, is generation. Or Dalet Resh, you could say the door, exalted, or the principal decision, threshold, head, hanging prince, descended master, transcending paternal lineage, the relayed baton received from one side and handed over to the next, waiting at the feet of the nobleman for his relinquishing of benefits upon his command, that which opens to allow the beginning, as the event of a rainfall precipitates a collection of waters into a flowing stream, the event of transference to the next subsequent authorized jurisdiction, a relayed principality, a supply arranged and stationed beforehand for successive relief of the weary, similar to the Pony Express staging. An auxiliary apparatus put into action by a feeble force, but itself capable of exerting a greater force, used to control a comparatively powerful machine or appliance, a governing principle or restrained but loosable power. Now, where did I get all these words? Looking at various different words, they had to do with the meanings behind Dalet and Resh. All that stuff can be read into Dalet Resh. But Dalet Resh is translated generation.
How do you take from all of those definitions when you're trying to put something together at all? I mean, this is the complex part here.
Yes.
Because I totally understand where you're coming from, but what brings it all together?
Okay, so I wrote this a year ago or so, and then just the other day I was doing another study on Dalet Resh. So I looked at the word spelled Dalet Resh or Dalet Vav Resh, or Dalet Yod Resh even, and then throw the different prefixes in front of it. Aleph Dalet Resh, Bet Dalet Resh. You can actually, even though they're not prefixes, throw all the other letters in there, and if you know what the letter means, you can see how it changes, each time you change a letter, how it changes the substance of what's going on. If you have 3 letters, 2 remain constant, and you keep altering 1, then you'll notice how that additional letter changed and what stays the same in terms of concept. So this is all a matter of manipulation and kind of experimental,
Do you
right?
think that it's easy, though, you know how this language is supposed to be something that, I mean, when the Father created, it's like anybody can do.
Right. Anybody can do this, I'm just anybody.
Well, no, I know. No, and yes, I understand it, but I'm just from a baby's perspective and how this is all tying together. Because I'm actually understanding just what I can hear, you know, how this is going together. Do you feel like that through, is it gonna take years to understand something like this, or does
No.
it just start to come? Does it
The
start to
whole
flow?
reason I'm doing this is to assist and make the thing happen quicker rather than not. Because if, you know, I have the chart at the radio station. I have no idea how many people have ever bought that chart. I don't know how many people look at the chart and have no idea what it means. And if some people looked at it and go, I know there's something there, but I don't know what it is, which reminds me, we're going to talk about Psalm 119. So somebody remind me, bring me back there if we go to Malachi 3:16. The point is, it's very simple. Dalet Resh. Dalet is a door, Resh is a man. What is the door? The threshold. The door, man. The threshold.